Well, the Government Oversight Committee meeting here at City Hall lasted just over 3 hours tonight. The Government Oversight Committee invited TARC's executive director and 2 of its board members to speak after it received several complaints from both drivers and customers about performance as well as safety concerns and other issues within the organization itself. Now, the committee is withholding the reappointment of board member Carla Deering until it can get to the bottom of what exactly is going on. For more than 3 hours, members of the Louisville Metro Council questioned TARC Executive Director Kerry Butler, board member Carla Deering, and board chair John Lannis. The committee invited leadership in after hearing numerous complaints from TARC employees and riders.
You're there to serve the public, and you do a very poor job of it.
Safety has become a big concern among drivers, with many complaining there is conflicting instructions about what to do when a driver feels threatened. Some claiming they have even been told not to call 911.
I'm not convinced that there's been a deep enough dive in the policies of TARC to protect the citizens that ride TARC or the drivers.
TARC has been under the microscope since former director Ferdinand Risco resigned in 2020. Subsequent investigations found Risco had been financially negligent, entered into questionable contracts, and engaged in sexual misconduct.
Administratively, what are we doing to change the culture of TARC? We know that it's a toxic culture. And what are we doing to change that?
Metro Council President David James said their answers have shown that not enough has changed. The board revealed that it just completed its first review of the current executive director last month, despite being on the job for more than 2 years. In fact, until then, there was no framework for reviewing the director.
To know that that had not occurred, it still has me with other questions about review of other top positions at TARC and what is being done about that.
Councilwoman Paula McCraney urged the leadership team to stop focusing so much on strategic planning and high-level issues and to start listening to its customers and workers.
You need to come down into the weeds and figure out what type of service you're giving to the citizens of this community.
Deering, whose board appointment is at risk, said they have added a new tip line for complaints and that they have been working on recommendations made following the investigations into TARC.
We have been and are very, very active and trying to take things apart and build them back up as much as a board can do.
Now, the committee has again tabled Deering's reappointment to the board until council members can file some open records requests with TARC. Meanwhile, TARC itself is hosting a mobility summit on Thursday at its Union Station headquarters on Broadway. That's going to be from 5 to 7 p.m. They want feedback from the public about any concerns or issues that they have with TARC. Again, that is 5 to 7 p.m. at its Broadway headquarters. Reporting live at City Hall tonight, Drew Gardner, WLKY News.
Thank you, Drew.